GPTs.
GPTs.
It's a GPT on top of a GPT.
And welcome back to the BigCheese.AI podcast. I am one of the world's top moderators. My name is Andre Hericus, and I'm joined by Sean Hayes and Jacob Wise, two tech leaders here in Indianapolis. And last but not least, Brandon Corbin, one of the brightest AI minds here in the Midwest. Today, we're going to be talking about GPTs. All right, guys. GPTs are what? The end of what?
No,
Sean, what are GPTs?
I don't know. They're not they're GPTs.
Okay,
We're about to get cheesy with GPTs.
I think that these GPTs are the next phase.
Yeah.
Right? To getting us to a point of AGI, right? Just a generalized artificial intelligence, that the GPTs are the next step. And in this case, a GPT is, you can think of it as like an agent, someone that we program. We're going to create this intelligent machine that can do whatever we want it to do and go and do it. So what's kind of interesting, though, is that these GPTs are kind of we made a step forward and then we made a step back. So right when Chat GPT came out, there were two projects that launched, Baby AGI and Auto GPT.
Yeah.
And both of these were designed to basically be able to take a single prompt, and then it's going to go and figure out all of the things it needs to do, and it's just going to start kind of running through it. And back then when they first launched, they weren't very helpful, but they were kind of the idea conceptually of saying we're going to have an AI that can do X, Y, and Z, and it's going to just do it all on its own. Well, we're not there yet, and like any sane person realizes that, jumping from just a regular Chat GPT to an Auto GPT is too big of a leap. So now we're kind of in this middle ground of GPTs, which is released from Chat GPT, where we can now go and basically create these intelligent things, and they can do certain things. They can read the web, they can generate images, they can execute code, they can have different actions to call APIs and all that stuff. So you can go and create them, and I've been creating them. I know you've been creating them, and now we're here.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. First thing I noticed is it's accentuating and providing a layer on top of Chat GPT for Chat GPT Plus,
right?
The new things, right?
You have to have the plus.
You have to have the plus.
Yeah. So because that was one thing I didn't realize, and I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, just go in and create one. She's like, I don't have it.
And it's using all the features. Right?
And as of recording this video, you can't actually subscribe to Chat GPT Plus right now. There is a wait list.
Oh yeah. So
no way.
So check this out. So I'm at my friend's house Friday, and we're just hanging out because my cleaning lady's at my house, and we switch houses sometimes on Fridays when we're working home. Well, anyways, the kids come home from school. Cleaning lady goes to my house, then he goes to her house.
You guys just alternate.
So we just alternate houses. Okay.
Right.
And we call it Minton co-working. It's my buddy's house. He loves the pod, by the way.
Oh, great.
Anyway, so we're hanging out, and I'm showing him Dolly, right? Because we were doing so much with Midjourney, and I had subscribed to Leonardo or Da Vinci or whatever the heck.
Leonardo,
whatever, which I did not like at all, by the way.
Okay.
No, great UI, terrible results.
Right.
But I was just started messing around, and we were messing around with their kids doing images, and they started making comic book characters and all that stuff. Anyways, we started making a Mario game. We were messing around. The kids loved it, by the way. And the next morning, he texted me at like 7 a.m. The first thing the kids wanted to do when they woke up the next morning was go to Chat GPT and start generating images. And he was like, man, this is on a wait list. And he ended up finding out that through Bing you can do it or something for free. But like these kids were so enthralled with ChatGPT, and it wasn't 3.5. It's this new layer, right?
Yeah.
That can surf the web, that can generate images, that can do certain things. Right. So it really is building off an abstraction layer off of the newest version of ChatGPT.
Right.
And from my takeaway on this is it's like, wow, this is a next step.
Right.
It's kind of just. If you can look at AI a lot of different ways. The most applicable way I can see right now is using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah, and GPTs are. Let's take a step back for those who don't know what the hell a GPT is.
Yeah.
They're more fine tuned. They're still leveraging Chat GPT probably 4 or Turbo. I don't know. Can you pick the engine?
Yeah, you can. I
think it's just 4.
Probably whatever their
whatever
their price point is at the time.
That's true.
Is this like Chat GPT's answer to the different services that were out there? They were like, we will make it easier for you to put your database into a chat app, and then you can search
Sure,
the database.
yeah. Yep, exactly. Because when you go and so there's two ways that you can set up a GPT. You can just give it a prompt, right?
And you go to OpenAI, you go to chat.openai, and you can now create a GPT right from there. So this is something you do on their website.
You need to be able to code to create one of these?
No. So you go in and you can say, create a new one, and you just give it a prompt. So in the case, I had one specific one that I wanted. Basically, the way you can think about that they're helpful is anytime that you're doing something over and over and over again with Chat GPT, where you have to go in and be like, hey, I need you to act like this and do this and do this, that's perfect for a GPT. So one that I have is JSON schema. So JSON schema is basically a way to describe
Don't you dare call it Jason. It's
JSON. I did JSON. Sorry, JSON.
Is it French?
But basically, it tells you how to structure a data object. And these large language models are really good at following those instructions. So if you wanted to always output some JSON, then you can have it basically say, I want you to output JSON, and I want it to always be in this format. Well, it's a pain in the ass to write the JSON schema. And so I just wrote one. I'm like, I want you to create a GPT for converting JSON to JSON schema. And that's it. And it does all of it. And it's like, all right, I'm going to call this the JSON wizard schema. And it uses DALL-E to come up with like the avatar for it and everything.
It's integrating with multiple services that OpenAI offers. But the other thing that it can do is it's not only giving it context of how it should provide answers, but it's actually able to do step-by-step processes.
Yep.
So your prompt that you engineer can be like, okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to get a lay of the land, right? Okay, so like there's this, I'll just use an example. So like SEO Fox, you give it a keyword, and then it gives you a list of article ideas that would be generated for that keyword. Then it's like, all right, then you pick one article, and then it generates the introduction, and then you iterate on the rest of the article, and it guides the user into an outcome. Yeah. And I think that's important for Chat GPT because a lot of people, I was looking up, I was just randomly on Twitter, and I always kill his name is Luke Roborowski or whatever, the UX guy from Google. You know what I'm talking about.
Luke, yeah.
He's like tweets profound things, right? But he was like, what the number one thing that people use AI for is to look up facts. But the number one use case for AI is creativity. And I thought that was really interesting because I think what people are going to are doing, and they can probably see it in their data, is they're going to ChatGPT and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is guiding them through a process.
That's a good point, actually, because ChatGPT is so open-ended, and that's the number one thing. Like, if I talk to family about it, they're like, okay, they don't get it because nobody gets it at first, right? You have to play with it,
get it,
and you have to figure out, okay, what are the use cases? And these GPTs are but these GPTs are a good conduit to be like, here are some ways you could leverage this tool. There's one I like quite a bit that I'll share this in the show notes, but there's a list of like the most popular GPTs by page views. One of them is like this random one called Mr. Reindeer or whatever. It's spelled wrong, but I think it's just Mr. Reindeer. And it says it's a personalized AI tutor. And I talked about this for a use case for like, if I want to learn how to play chess, you can go and say, give me an outline. This is built for that. So I can say, I want to learn X. And then it can give you a whole outline of how you could go and learn that thing. Step by step, and like to your point, these are you can step through them.
It's step through.
Yeah, and then the next thing is, okay, well, the first thing is your curriculum generations. Then the first thing on your curriculum item is this. Do you want to do that? And then if you do, you go and you keep going through the things. So I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's reducing the amount of like iterations you have with ChatGPT where you're not making any progress.
Yeah.
I think this is also leveraging the enhanced context window that you're seeing, where it can handle a lot of stuff.
And
I took our entire YouTube transcript and put it into ChatGPT, which is an hour-long conversation, and said, convert this to HTML. Put P tags and lists and all that stuff. And it was able to do it. It choked out a few times, but I mean, that's a pretty big context window. And so, I mean, I think for creating GPTs and having that layer, I mean, this is a huge step forward for AI, for OpenAI, and for adoption.
I think it's huge for OpenAI for sure. one of their angles is turning these Chat GPTs that anyone can go out there and create and turn into a marketplace of sorts.
Right.
So almost like an
does
app
not
store,
exist.
which doesn't exist yet, but it's going to exist eventually. And that opens up the opportunity for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, intrapreneurs, people who want to automate systems and processes within a current organization. It's incredible the level that it can get you to. It just moves imagination forward so much faster because it inserts
How
things.
are you discovering because you're doing this more, and maybe we don't know the answer, but how are you guys discovering your GPTs? Because I had a hard time. There's just the list on the website right now. It's just their stuff.
Yeah.
But how are you guys discovering GPTs?
So typically you have to look it up on like a YouTube video or some other website that gives you links to, because you can share a link to your to your GPT to anyone you want once you've created it.
Yeah.
So basically you have to go find someone that's
And you
gotten
can just
that
start
link
using them right then and there for free.
Yeah. If you have
If you have
Chat
GPT
GPT
Plus.
And I think like what's going to happen is like, of course, you're going to have 30 different versions of the exact same GPT, but the one that people find the most useful will rise to the top.
It'll be the fart app.
Yeah, yes, yes. But like eventually, the idea of like an auto GPT, I think even they mentioned this in their keynote that at some point in time you're going to be able to give Chat GPT Plus like an open-ended task, and it's going to go figure out which GPTs to use to accomplish that task, and maybe multiple. And maybe, and multimodal is definitely the future of Chat GPT.
Right, and the other things it also is going to allow you to do is charge for your GPT.
Okay.
So there's going to be thousands or hundreds of thousands of these GPTs made, but what's it come back to? Your ability to market yourself. Like how many products have been iterations of products that currently exist, but they end up being actual products that people use because they learned how to market and sell it. So that same kind of concept is going to apply here.
Yeah.
Or if you can market your GPT in a good way through social content or what have you, then you can take it forward. And I mean, if one of the clients that we're working with right now, we're literally going in and helping them fine tune their ICP. And then from there, we're then creating a GPT that we input the ICP into, and this GPT
Ideal
basically
customer profile.
Ideal
Not
customer profile.
insane
So
clown
who
posse.
are we trying to sell to? And then we're putting it in there, and basically the end result is instead of having to go out and a sales rep go and find prospects and find people that are going to fit into the ICP of this client, well, in this case, now you can just hit one button, and it'll give you a whole list of businesses within the U.S. that are specifically matching that ICP. Then you can obviously go connect that to an Instantly or a Zoom info and find that contact information. I mean, that's going to save you a ton of time and obviously significantly increase revenues as well.
So how did you leverage AI to build weekly.bigcheese?
Yeah, so if you go to weekly.bigcheese.ai, and I think it's a good example of how you need to kind of think through when you're going to be building AI into your product. So what's nice about the weekly is that it's a controlled schedule. And so what happens is takes anything that's kind of AI related, pulls that down, make sure we don't already have that saved. And if it doesn't, we basically take it and we run it through a prompt to go and extract a bunch of information from each of these articles. So this is going to, we actually go and pull down the whole HTML of the website. And if you're ever thinking about doing this where you want to go pull a website, I find that if you go take a website and you convert the HTML to Markdown, you save yourself a ton of space, right? And a ton of context window.
You're using AI-ish stuff to do that conversion?
No, so
You're
I'm just
using
some NPM library that
You
basically
love
takes.
Markdown. Unlike HTML
do,
now.
I do, yeah, no. So I use Markdown for virtually everything now, just because it's like once you have it in the Markdown format, we can get it to HTML, no problem.
Yeah, it's more transferable.
Right, but we can then go from HTML to Markdown as well. So it's just this really kind of nice way, and it's fairly compact. So anyway, I basically take that Markdown of the website, and I ask Chat GPT, give me, and that's where that JSON schema comes into play, because I was like, give me, any relevant links, give me any interesting facts, give me a summary about what it is, give me a rating, give me blah, 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 blah. And then we take that and we store that up into the database. And so that's what actually powers, like when you actually look at weekly.bigcheese.ai, is that all of that is actually dynamically generated through Chat GPT, but it only happens at a consistent manner. It's not like I just have anybody that can go and all of a sudden we have 100,000 people asking ChatGPT 4 Turbo to get, because like all of a sudden, I mean, I'm already paying like $30-40 a month just for a lot of these, a lot of the things that are kind of going on in terms of it. So
all the random
yeah.
startups you create and end within hours.
It's crazy.
That's Brandon's life. I took weekly.bigcheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, went to the website, copied and pasted it into a GPT called Newsletter Generator.
But do you only give it the URL?
No. I gave it the content in this case.
All right.
And I just said, hey, it has some context of what you're trying to get out of a newsletter. It can design a newsletter. It can give you content, but I just said, give me a newsletter.
Yep.
Okay. I put that content in there because here's the thing about newsletters. It's not just the summaries and the links. It's the takes. It's the unique content and perspective you bring to that. And so I was like, please take this content and create the most clickbait headlines and summaries you can possibly create based off this content. And sure enough, it returns these emojis, these exclamation point. Is this the end of the world? Just like all this clickbait. And then we said the same thing. Like, do the same thing with the context of AI is the worst. You're so down on AI, and it did the exact same thing. Now in that case, it kept reusing the same thing over and over, like cost or something. I don't know, but it was like it ran out of ideas because AI is awesome. But I thought that was a really cool, interesting use of GPTs. The other interesting thing that Andre and I just ran into was it was on a YouTube video from Wes GPT. He's on YouTube, cool dude, I guess. But there's a GPT called GPT Prompt Fixer.
Oh.
So you tell it's a GPT on top of a GPT.
Right.
When you go to Chat GPT, you can add these as your favorites on the left sidebar, whatever. But you go to GPT Prompt Fixer and you tell it what you want your GPT to do, and then it'll iterate. You just sit there and watch it iterate for a few minutes, fine-tuning and creating the GPT for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it allows you to get way better results than you otherwise would. So if someone's listening to this podcast and they go to Chat GPT and they want to go create their first GPT, your first GPT is going to be less good than your second GPT. So there's like a learning curve to it and like how to actually prompt it well. Well, that GPT fixer basically gets you from 0 to, I assume, 10 much faster than you would if you were like, trying to just do it by hand, because I actually did that where I was looked again with the ICP and it was kind of getting me where I wanted to go, but not exactly. And that fixer would have got me all the way to the end result that I wanted to get to.
And I think that the thing I'm seeing is how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. Mm-hmm. So like they're breaking up the problem into sequences a lot of the times.
So does that kind of replace the need for, I mean, maybe not, but the need for cheat sheets? Like these are very popular, right? Like, send me your email and I'll give you my Chat GPT cheat sheet. I love them. I'm like, here you go. Take my email, please.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do I get so much spam? It's weird.
Yeah. But, this is going to be a GPT cheat sheet with just a list of GPTs that you can use.
I think these guys that create all these videos, they have nothing else to do but sides talk about Chat GPT. I'm like, what work are you actually getting done? So for the people out there that actually have to get work done, this is like your go-to, right? If you're, so I just think that a lot of the content coming out is like, here's how you could do, but show me in practice. Show me in practice how this could be done.
The clickbait is like, do this thing in 12 seconds. And the reality is like, no, in 12 seconds, get a good starting point and then can do the work you would have done, but end up with a way better result.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aside from the GPTs, which obviously we'll come back to, we do have a situation to talk about, gents. And the situation is our YouTube comments. The situation is, so we started the Big Cheese podcast, about a month and a half ago, and we're posting a short every single day. We're just our go-to-market is all the social medias and YouTube, and we're growing. But along that has some growing pains, and we're getting some pretty fun comments.
I completely blame Andre's completely clickbait headlines.
Yeah, so
in the most Andre fashion possible.
Exactly. How do we get people to click on something and take an action, right? So
Elon Musk. Sorry.
Yeah, you put Elon Musk in it, and you're bound to get a few thousand views. But Brandon, you had some thoughts on these comments that are coming over.
No, I think they're hilarious. So the YouTube people are savages. So we have a bunch of people saying that you look like Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, because I have a baby face.
Because he has a baby face. We have a bunch of old dudes talking about AI that's been around forever. Right. Like, yeah. So no, I think it's friggin' hilarious.
Okay, the dude out there that said AI has been around for decades is completely lost. Like, here, case in point, sure, AI has been around. We talked about it in our first or second podcast. These concepts have been around.
Yeah.
Neural networks, but has it gone mainstream from a production? Like,
right?
Is it on
right?
People are using this stuff.
Yeah.
and it's just currently-
Transistors have existed for a while, so like if something new comes out, you can do it on the computer. You don't say,
it comes
well,
down to user experience. It comes down to
Right.
the accessibility and user experience. They created the whole reason why we're here today is because Altman and his dudes created an app that actually interacts properly with this stuff.
And now makes it accessible for the rest of the people. Yes, absolutely existed. Yes, you could go through
Your nerdy ass did some data science
Right.
and made a machine learn how to make a picture of an apple, tell it was an apple.
Exactly,
Good for you.
yeah.
But did you make 300 million people change the way that they're doing business?
Exactly. And that's the huge that's the big difference. And so no, again, I love the comments. I think they're hilarious. I don't like when they're attacking, Dre.
I just try to encourage it. I just cheer them on because like the more comments, the more views we'll get. So.
You're laughing at them. You're liking their stuff. You're putting up videos and all that. So yeah, props to you on being able to handle it. But yeah, they're just a bunch of assholes, and I love it.
Yeah, YouTube comments are YouTube comments.
No, but we've gotten a lot of good feedback from real humans on the podcast, and our goal is to try to continue to keep things fresh. I think from a GPT perspective, I don't think we've covered a more applicable, thing. If we've of all the things we talked about since we started, I think that this new version of Chat GPT and the whole theory of if it is going to be built with AI, it's going to be built with Chat GPT continues to win.
Yeah.
Right.
The one though, that I think the GPT that is the biggest example for where businesses can take this though is the Sticker Whiz. So Sticker Whiz is backed by StickerMule.com, MULE.com. And you can just go to Sticker Mule, upload your PDF or upload your image or whatever and get them stickers. But Chat GPT created the GPT Sticker Whiz, where you just go in and you basically give it and it generates a sticker, and then you can order said sticker from Sticker Mule.
You're talking about a new input type.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have the mouse,
Yeah.
you have the keyboard, you have the voice, and then you have the Google. The different things. Right now you have the GPT.
Yeah.
And that is literally a new way of interacting with computing and the environment. It's like being able to go to kind of the things that Amazon and Shopify did to e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing it's going to be the same thing except for even more crazy.
Right.
Right.
One thing
Can I say something really quick, Brandon? You just brought something up that I think I don't want us to look over this.
Right.
So Sticker Mule?
Sticker Mule.
Sticker Mule created a way to get inbound sales by creating a GPT that allows people to create really good stickers, and then they order those stickers through Sticker Mule. Thus, Sticker Mule makes more money.
Right.
That just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about an entirely new marketing and distribution
been to a
channel.
T-shirt or a sticker website and try to do your own design.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely, but think about this: like the future. One of the examples of how these GPTs will be used once they're widely adopted is you're going to have current companies just creating these apps in this app store
what
that
people-
create inbound leads and you can make sales through.
What
I
have
mean, that is
people
phenomenal.
been trying to do so far? They're like, okay, I have an OpenAI API key. I'm going to build this into my app. And now, and so Sticker Mule could have just said, okay, we're going to use Dolly, and then you're going to go to stickermule.com, and it's going to call out to Dolly.
Right.
Right. Well, there's friction there.
Yeah.
Right. There's tech debt there.
Yeah.
So you're going now. They're going.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Our entry point actually isn't our website. It's that it's the platform.
It's kinda-
because anything that can be built with AI
will be built with
will
AI.
be built with AI on Chat GPT. That's probably a pretty strong statement that is probably going to be pretty accurate just because it's the ease of use. It's all about user experience.
Yeah, I kind of think about it like the Google products card, to where you could expose your API or your products to that, and then from Google you get the listings. You can click buy now basically, or there's Chow, and there's all sorts of ways that from a search engine you can purchase something, right? Reducing friction. Like traditionally people would think, the Amazon model, which was revolutionary, was the buy now, the click button. Now it's just taking it. These are just like the next evolutions of what you said, reducing friction.
Yeah, reducing
'Cause
friction.
If you reduce friction, our attention spans are low.
Yeah.
If you can continue to reduce that, I'm gonna keep clicking buy now.
Yeah, well, totally. And I think it's so much better than this is the way that I'm thinking about it right now. So you have a situation where for the past X amount of years, people have had marketing websites. And the whole point of a marketing website was to display information about your company, your product, or your service. Well, what's came along the path since these things that came out, because you have different buying personas. So then we have, really good tech people that spin up a new landing page for the specific archetype. And the whole point of doing all of that is to specifically resonate and talk to a user about how you can solve their problem. Well, the best way to communicate to a user how you can solve their problem is for them to tell you what their problem is, and then for the GPT to give them a very easily digestible answer on how your product can specifically help them. Right. And so you think about that, like that becomes I think for startups, it's like, okay, you're going onto a sales call, and all you're trying to do on that sales call is find what their pain point is. And like that's the whole idea behind the sales methodologies is how do I get the real pain that you're feeling so I can actually create a solution for you. Right. Well, now you can kind of automate that process, right? You can have it understand your whole corpus of everything your product can do, have someone just type in, here's my problem, and then it can give you the actual solution specific to that product that you're trying to sell. That's pretty incredible.
What's Sticker Mule's competitive? Like what do they do? They probably print good sticker designs and get it to you in the mail quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
So custom designs into your mailbox quickly.
I don't know. I've heard of them, but I didn't. But at the end of the day, they want to make stickers and they want to send the stickers to their customers. They don't care how the stickers are ordered or what they look like. Well, they want them to, they do care what they look like because they want the product to be good, which we know DALL-E's great because we proved that it's the best image generation model on the market.
Yeah.
But I think we have. Do we all agree?
We all went through. Yeah, we went through a few of them. We went through the Mid-Journey and the comparisons.
DALL-E 3. So I would have agreed with that a while ago because of the whole Chat GPT interface that you can just describe what you want. And because
Chat GPT is also rewriting your prompt to be badass.
Yeah, you should check out Imagine. Meta's new one was pretty good.
Yeah, that was.
I thought that one was particularly good for photorealistic.
I love Instagram, so I'm a complete.
Well, you're about to get Imagine on Instagram, according to their.
Oh, that would make sense. They would start being able to generate
Instagram is a disease that I am afflicted with.
Yours is mine's TikTok.
I'm addicted to Instagram.
The best thing that happened to me was I accidentally locked myself out of my Instagram for like 6 months. And I was too embarrassed because you have to send a picture with you and
I just learned way too much about cooking on Instagram because I'm all cooking.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the algorithm has you tagged now.
And I just learned so much about cooking.
Do you bake or just cook?
I mean, a little bit of baking.
Do
There's
you?
baking in there. Yeah, there's some baking.
Baking's cool.
It started with barbecue, and then it went to like culinary dishes type, like that kind of stuff. But I can't get off Instagram, but it's so addictive and so terrible for you. But going back to Sticker Mule, I was just saying, it's like, what's your unique value proposition as your company? If you can create an input that gets you on to Chat GPT, that's a market for you.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Not every business is going to be a good fit for, this is a hammer, not everything's a nail. Right. But if you do have something that can reduce the friction of, and it's a purchase, a streamlined thing, absolutely.
I would think that the best use case I would think is, so you're an e-commerce play. Let's say H&M. They make clothes, right? And their clothes are affordable. But one of the things is they have lots of different styles of clothes. Right? So you would say, okay, the product manager goes to H&M e-commerce and says, we want to build AI into our product. And you go, okay, great. We're going to build a search bar. And it's going to do a great job searching through our products. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's what we're going to do. And it's going to, and it could work.
Yeah,
right?
and they can add intent, like I want a free-flowing, casual summer top. That's me.
Exactly. Well, that's the question, right? It's like,
but here's the point. What you could do and probably get just as much value out of and lower or just as another angle. I would argue that this would be
just another angle.
It's just another angle. It's a new user. It's a new type of input. It's a new type of user. Just build a GPT. H&M's GPT. I want slim fitting jeans. I want the jeans that I can never find on the site because I can never find anything there that are actually slim fitting. And here's my size, and I want to, and might as well, instead of giving me a link to the page, just let me buy it.
Yeah, and that's something we've been talking about as a team as well. For those who are listening to the podcast, we've been kind of inching on this idea, but we are going to start offering this kind of service. So an example of what that service can be is, let's say that you are a apparel company, and you're looking for a new distribution channel, obviously you want to increase your sales. And one of the things that I specifically have dealt with, especially when 20 weigts ago, I weighed 100 more pounds than I do now. It was kind of really hard to find clothes. And so it would be nice if I could have a GPT that DXL created, because that's where I used to shop, and I could put in, I'm looking for this kind of style during this time of the year, and then give me the kind of clothes that I'd want.
Talk about customer personas. Your customer persona in a year isn't going to be your Google Analytics footprint. It's going to be your personal prompt that you created on your own.
So if you're a company that wants to turn on this channel of using GPTs as an inbound strategy, well, we can help you do that. We can help you create the GPT. We can help you set up the marketing to actually get the word out there.
I almost wonder though if it shouldn't be that there's an aggregator that is doing it. So it's H&M, it's DHX or whatever it was, it's Gap, it's 10 or 15 different providers for fashion. That you then can go and have a conversation of what's your style. Let's figure it out.
It'll suggest you the best prices.
Exactly. Incorporate some.
I think that's a pretty good idea for a product
Is that
brand.
going to create more acquisition and consolidation?
Yeah, right.
Well, Google's already set up for this,
isn't
right?
there doesn't BlackRock just own all these fucking companies?
They own fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, but you're right. Like, to your point, it lends itself to, exposure API with all of the data points. So Google most likely can build a database of the thing, the type of the thing, and then add that, and they can do that too. So
one of the things when you're building these GPTs, if you're technical, so if you're not technical, you can just ignore everything I'm about to say. But if you're technical, you can actually provide your API spec, so that can be in Swagger or Open API, to this GPT.
It can handle all
and
that.
It can handle it. And it can understand, so the user's asking for this. I see that there's a lookup for...
How much bigger is the context window from the original version of Chat GPT to now? Is
the original, I think, was like 4,800.
How is it? How big is it now?
120,000 for the 4 turbo preview.
We're talking about the difference between the 2800 baud modem and the 56K at this point.
And a T1.
And the T1.
Right.
Yeah. Like we're...
Huge.
So that the
And it's
applications...
only we were celebrating like 3, 4, 5 days. Maybe it was the 30th, the year anniversary of GPT, of Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Like we're only a year into this. So what we're doing with Big Cheese is we're rolling out a workshop service. And because the reality is a lot of these companies and everyone we talk to, they know they want to incorporate AI. They just don't know what does that actually look like. So our workshops are designed to go through your business, to understand your business, and to say, this is like 4 or 5 different areas that AI could be incorporated. And we'll actually go through and we'll do some real life tests, specifically probably with the playground, where we go through and we prove out some of these concepts. And then the end result of that workshop is a real-world statement of work that tells you exactly how long things are going to take to build. We can build them using our own team, or you could take that to your own development shop and do it. But the main objective is to really understand how your company can leverage AI and how to actually build that out. So that is one of the workshops that we're doing with Big Cheese.
I'm Andre Hericus, joined by Sean Hayes, Jacob Wise, and Brandon Corbin.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.